Hello, welcome to a short demonstration of Brook Mobile Sales. For the purpose of the demonstration, we have emulated the handheld device onto a screen here for recording. The mobile sales has been developed by Brook in conjunction with Sage 200. This will allow more flexibility for sales ordering and delivery of stock. So if we pop into the icon here, Brook Supply Chain Management, we are presented with a username and password login screen. Depending on what you're logging into and whether you're offline or online, etc., will depend on the parameter that you set in here. For the purpose of today, we're going to log in like this. We have other modules on the handheld here. We have WMS, and this allows for goods in and picking on a handheld for orders that have come from Sage 200. We have our DMS, our delivery management system. This allows for orders already put onto Sage 200, gone through a pick and pack scenario, and are expecting to go onto a route and receive an EPOD. For the purpose of today, all we're looking at is the mobile sales. We are presented with the number of modules within the mobile sales, our orders, our unit information, i.e. our handheld, some inquiries about the orders and some reports. First thing we're going to look at today is if we want to place orders. So two choices in here is the customer and the transmit. So in the customer we will be allowed to place our orders, and the transmit will be transmitting the orders back to the head office for processing into the accounts. This can either be done by the handheld being docked when it's back at the head office, or if the unit is switched on for GSM, they can be transmitted immediately. If we click on the customer here, the first item screen we will be presented with is to choose our route and our day that this handheld is going to run through. Behind the scenes, we've got various parameters set on this route, customers and the driver information. So if we select the route that we're going to go on today, so for the purpose of the demonstration, I'm going to pick Friday and I'm going to click OK. The next screen that will appear will be a list of the customers that are on the route and the sequence that they're supposed to be attended to. You can toggle that sequence and you can change it to move from sequence to account, to the branch, to the name, and back to sequence. So depending on your preference on how you want to find the customer, you can toggle. Information on the right hand side is things like, is the customer on hold? What payment type are they? Because the mobile sales can cater for cash, on account and central billing. We've got the address details there, and likewise some of this information is being duplicated down the bottom for quick access. What's the balance on the account? What's the credit limit? The payment type and the address. So if we select the first customer on the list and we click on OK. What we're first presented with is a list of orders and their status. So all these have been updated to the host, i.e. they're back in the account system. These are the order dates. We can do a few things here. We could print, if we were at the customer site, we could print and give them a copy of that previous order. We can view it for them and show them on the handheld, or we can have a look ourselves to see what's on the information if we want to have a look at the lines. They may decide to use some of a look at their regular products that they want to buy again. Or what we can do is we can click on New, and this will allow us to create a new order. So we've already selected the customer, it's given us the next order number, and if we want to put a reference, so we may put a reference of a person, a PO, anything like that of authorization they may have. It will default to today's date. So the next thing we'll do is we will generate some lines for this order. So what we're going to do is click on New, and what we're presented with is a default list of products that are available at this point in time to hand over to the customer. you can see here over here on the right, we're only showing the list of items that have stock greater than 0, because the purpose of the mobile sales is that we're going to take the order and deliver the stock in one movement. We can look for the code here by the shortcut and entering keys. We can again toggle from code to description. And we can see over here on the right hand side various other pieces of information about the product. More likely that we won't be looking at that they'll be looking at just the number of stock items that they're wishing to place an order for. Depending on the units of measure, down here that could possibly change to singles, cases, eaches, kilos, and that's all based on the setup. So if we select our item here, we can click on each, and that will increase the number that you want to place an order for. You will go to your next item, and again you can place your number here. And if we pop into there to try and find the next one, short keys here will default to this, and we'll place another item on that. So we can see here, if we clear that, all of our items come back, and we select one more there. Now what we can do at this point in time is we can print a Pic Note. Once there's a printer attached, that will print, as you can hear in the background. And we will show you a snapshot of that next. There are a couple of other things that you can do on this screen. You can change from being the standard to a promotion, to a return, and to a free of charge. So that's the line types that you are actually selecting, the type of line that you want to place this. So we may say this Ninja is on the promotion, and we'll select one quantity on that. The other item down below here that we have is we can change the decimal places on it, and we can use the up and down arrow as we want, because we may be dealing in kilos. Once we're happy with that, and we've got all of our items on the order, we can go back to the back. We can see the list of lines there in total, what we've ordered. We can see the units, the quantities, the price, the VAT, and the line type. We can amend, and we can add any new items to this. Once we're happy that the order is now complete, we can click on Finish. OK to complete. No further changes are allowed for this order. So if the customer does decide that they want anything further, we will need to place a new order while they're present. That shouldn't cause an issue either. Click Yes. What will happen here is we will say the name of the person, and we will get them to write their name on it, and we will save that. How many copies do we want of the invoice, and if we want any further copies of the Pic Note. It tends to be defaulting to 2, so the customer can have 1 copy and the driver can have 1 copy. We click on OK. And in the background you can hear the invoice printing. Once we've completed that customer, we would tend to go and transmit the order for that customer back to the head office. So we'll click on Transmit. We do wish to transmit the orders. And once they've been transmitted, we can see the order number here, the transmission has been started, the communication with the server, and preparation of the data to go across. Once that's complete, we will go back. And in the background here, we've got a console. So we can see here that the updating for sales order for 1004, unit number 10, this was the queue that's come through. And we can see that that's gone through. So the next place we'll have a look is just on the order processing log file, and we can see here at the same time the sales order from the mobile sales. This order number for this customer has been processed through there. So once we come back out of the transmit there, we'll go back into the customer. We can have a quick look at this customer here just through their own account, and we can see that that order has been now transmitted. So if we go back, we would normally go on to the next customer now and perform the same action. So if we go back into here and into the customers, we can also have a quick look back here and have a look at some of the inquiries. So we've got stock inquiries here. So we can see all the list of items that we had used earlier on. We've got our pesto, and we can see over here what the current stock is, so that if we do go into another site, we know what it is. We can have a look at some of the reports if we want to print anything out, possibly to see where our current transactions are. Ask us how many number of copies do we want. We click on OK, 1 is fine, and it will start to print there. There are various reports and inquiries that you can use on the unit as you work through the day and through your route, and they will print out to the attached printer as we demonstrated earlier on. One other thing, once you're finished your route at the end of the day, what's been asked to do is perform a day end. The day end allows to collate and reconcile money and orders and stock levels when they go back to base. There's a report being printed in the background, as you can hear. Once all of those are complete, you can go back, and you would normally be heading back to base if not already at the base. And if we pop down into our console again, we can see if any queue changes have had to come down. So we can see they're updating all those products and anything further on our order entry. And you can see here now through the time that a new order has been generated in Sage 200, 55576. So if we just refresh the Sage 200 screen, we can see that our order has come through via the console here, and this the information. And if we just view that order here, you can see these are all the lines that you place the order for. That is the end of the demonstration. I hope that was of some value to you.